this video, I'm going to break down how I lost 30 pounds of stubborn belly fat in only 4 months using these 3 simple nutrition steps. And if you're someone who wants to lose anywhere from 10 to 30 pounds of stubborn belly fat and keep it off for good, make sure to stick around for the rest of this video so you can see the full 3 steps broken down. And if you're someone who maybe struggles with your nutrition, maybe you struggle with simple, meal prep ideas, or what to grab for takeout or while you're on the go, or even snacks to just keep at your desk while you're grinding all day, make sure to grab my 30-page flexible nutrition plan below. That includes simple meal prep ideas, takeout and fast food options that you can still eat guilt-free, and a list of 20 high-protein snacks that you can keep at your desk while you're going through the grind. And for some of you who are maybe new to my world or maybe don't know who I am just yet, my name is Tyler Jones, and I'm a former sports sales executive for about a year in the NFL. And before I, started working at the New York Jets back in 2019, I was a personal trainer for about 3 years at this point. Already had helped over 100 plus people, shed body fat, build muscle. And you can clearly see in this photo, I'm about 10% body fat, 170 pounds, working out 5 days a week. And I had my own schedule. So life was great. And I was the healthiest I've ever been at that point. But when I transitioned into working in sports, and literally this picture was taken the day before I started my first day in sports, 4 to 5 months later, I was 30 pounds overweight, super stressed out, barely getting any sleep, about 4 to 5 hours a night. And just my health had fallen off, and I stopped going to the gym, and I just fell off completely. And this is someone who has been, a trainer for 3 years up until this point. So anyone who's struggling out there, you're not alone, and it's okay that you're going through that because, I'm someone who was at its apex and still fell off due to life changes and transitions. But one of the biggest issues that I see, especially in the sports world, is that working in sports is freaking crazy, guys. Like the crazy schedules, the long shifts, the late nights, the travel, sometimes working 70, 80 hours a week. I was one of those people. And a lot of the clients that I've worked with or the people that I've spoken to in the sports industry, a lot of them, are former athletes where they've been at the apex of with their health and fitness or with their routines, right? Or just very driven, motivated people. And a lot of them I see, maybe know what to do or have an idea, but maybe they're trying a bunch of things or what they, did in the past that maybe worked for them, like eating clean all week, right? And, skipping meals and kind of not eating as much. And then I see them blowing it on game days, whether they're grabbing donuts and, 2 to 3 cups of coffee to get through the day in the morning, stuffing their face with chicken tenders and fries for, their midday meal. I was one of those people, or eating pizza, right, that the team brings in, or team meal, whatever you want to call it. And grabbing takeout late at night after the game because you don't have the energy to even make dinner. And then, when Monday rolls around, starting all over again. And for the people that are doing 5 to 6 home games in a week span or have multiple games a week, this can be a huge challenge. And I realize it's not a discipline problem. It's a strategy problem, right? Because we are motivated. You are ready to go. You just maybe don't have the plan that fits your lifestyle. And once I got the plan that fit my lifestyle, especially when it came to my nutrition, since it's 70 to 80% of the game, guys, I was able to drop that same 30 pounds I gained 4 months later. You can see I'm a lot happier. My abs are showing. And I went from 200 pounds here all the way back down to 170. So the biggest mistake I see most people make, along with, eating clean all week, is they're trying to out-discipline a broken system. They're eating way too little calories, like 1,200 to 1,400 a day. They're skipping meals, binging late at night to make up for the starving themselves throughout the day or throughout the week, and burning out and quitting. And for you guys, just a quick tip, not to get too scientific on you guys, but if you look at this diagram on the right, how many calories you burn throughout a given day are based off of these 4 things. Your BMR, which is how many calories you burn on a daily basis without you doing anything. The thermic effect of food, of a digestion and how many calories your body's burning through digestion. Your NEAT activities, which is fidgeting, basically just all the activities you do throughout your day unconsciously, right? And then exercise, right? So your steps, you're working out, you're lifting, your cardio, all that stuff. But as you stay in a calorie deficit or barely eat any calories for too long, right? You're only really supposed to be in a deficit for 3 to 4 months before your body starts to work against you. Your body actually slows your metabolism down a little bit, and it slows how many calories your body's going to burn through these activities. Why? Because it's making up for the food that it's not getting in return. And this is the big mistake I see most people make, is that they're starving themselves throughout the week, and maybe they're binging late at night, which either A, kills their progress from the week prior, going into the new week, or they're eating super low calories all the time, and then therefore they hit a plateau with their fat loss because their body is naturally going to follow this and decrease the amount of calories it's burning on a daily basis. So all these guys that are on this page right here, like Devin, who lost 25 pounds in 6 months while working in sports, Jason, former athlete, lost 20 pounds in 4 months, and Andrew, who's a former, college football player, offensive lineman, who lost, 25 pounds in 4 months. They were all in the same boat as you. People who were driven, motivated, ready to go, maybe even doing a lot of the things on their own, but couldn't really figure out the pieces or the structure that would work best for them, the strategy, right? And then once they got everything dialed with the nutrition, they realized that they were able to, eat, actually a lot more food than they originally were, get a plan where they have a balance where they can enjoy social life and still fuel their body with the right stuff. And 3, sustainable progress, right? You still can lose, 25, 30 pounds in, a 3, 4, 5 month span. But we want to make sure it's done the right way. So all of these guys are able to do the same. And here comes the 3 steps that I'm super excited to share with you. So step number 1 is to calculate what you actually need. Right? You find your calorie target for your current body, activity, and fat loss goal. You stop guessing or copying random plans online, and precision equals freedom. And precision is precision for what works for you and your specific lifestyle, because that's where, the dream works, right? Is when you actually find what works for you. And this diagram on the right, guys, if you need access to this, please let me know. I feel free to drop you this or this, this diagram, this breakdown. But follow these steps to calculate from scratch for the fat loss, calculating this. Your step 2 is to multiply it by your activity level, right? So you actually get, the makeup for the calories that you're actually expending throughout a daily basis. And then I would always say, it says a deficit between 30 to 15%. I always say subtract anywhere from 300 to 500 calories from whatever number that you get from here, because this is going to help you give you your maintenance calories, right? So it all starts with finding out how much you really need to eat for your goal. And that's why I see most people, again, make the mistake is they jump right to eating clean food, healthy food, where they don't understand, number 1, is that if you're eating, even if it's clean food, if you're eating more than what your body needs, a calorie surplus, you're still going to gain weight. And that's what happened to me is I was eating grilled chicken, rice, obviously takeout here and there, but I was also eating a lot of grilled chicken and rice, but it just in big portions that made me gain that 30 pounds while I was working in sports as well. Gotta love the sports cafeteria for you guys out there that know what I'm talking about. So the first step is to calculate actually how much you need for your goals. And that's the most important piece, guys. So make sure to do this step first. Step number 2 is to focus on the right foods, the 80-20 rule, right? 80% high protein, home cooked, goal aligned meals, right? That align with your goals and how you want to operate on a day-to-day basis and how you want to perform. And then 20% equals flexible meals like your ballpark food, your dinners out, your travel days, or if you're out with friends and families or, going out for a late night, right? You want to have your favorite Chick-fil-A or Chipotle, whatever it is. And one of my clients here, Tara's on the right, who's still with me even after all this time. The difference between these 2 photos, she's down about 43 pounds, guys. 43 pounds. And Tara's biggest issue when it came to the right foods and figuring out the 80-20 rule is not only was she, starving herself, eating about 12 to 1,400 calories a day, even after she'd been working out for 4 or 5 days a week at a time, she also a lot of the times wasn't fueling her body with the right foods because she was eating so low, or she'd eat like, the salads, the healthy foods that people say, the chicken, and then end up binging. Or the other flip side is that she wasn't fueling her body with the right foods most of the time, and then therefore overeating in a calorie surplus, which made it harder for her to hit her fat loss goals, right? But most people think the biggest mistake is they think they need to cut out all the foods that they enjoy, no going out, no eating fast food, no drinking, all these things. And it becomes a very all or nothing mentality, right? Which is the quickest way to someone burning out. So when you institute an 80-20 rule, guys, you actually come up with a balanced plan, right? That works for you, right? So you want to make sure that, again, just like Tara's story, once she got on the right plan of what the balance looked like, she was still able to go out and enjoy her food. She still was able to go out with time with friends and families, and she loves, sweets and whatever, was able to find healthy alternatives as well. You want to make sure that you're finding that balance so that way you can sustainably get to your goals like she did. And this is step 2, guys. Continued. When it comes to like what the 80-20 rule looks like. So say if you have 3 meals a day, right? It's 21 meals a week. 17 meals the 80% of the 21 would be 17 meals clean. 4 meals out of the 21 meals would be flexible, right? And again, the priority is consistency over perfection. And most people, again, like I said, understanding the approach, they think what your diet looks like during the week, what most people's diet looks like on the weekend, and what your diet should look like all the time. And that's why I always encourage my clients is to, if you want that Chick-fil-A or you want that Chipotle or Taco Bell, or you have a game midweek, is eat those foods throughout the week, because a lot of times people are eating clean all the way through the week and they reward themselves on the weekend, right? Which can cause the binge. If you have your Chipotle or your Chick-fil-A in the middle of the week, maybe for one of your meals, instead of eating the prep meals and just kind of switching them out or rotating them, you look less forward to the fast food over the weekend, or you need it less once the weekend rolls around. And that's because you already had it in the middle of the week. Again, eliminating this all or nothing mentality of Monday through Friday, I'm clean, and the weekends I figured out have fun. So you can rotate these, again, like a diet like this, balanced throughout the week, where you can have ice cream in the middle of the week, or again, Chick-fil-A. So that would be my best recommendation. I always recommend that with my clients. So step number 3 is to stop stressing about meal timing. I know people say the myth out there is that if you eat late at night, you are going to, gain fat overnight, and it's because it's going to sit in your stomach. But eating late at night doesn't make you fat. Total calories is what matters the most, because people get fat or gain weight over time from eating over time in a calorie surplus, right? And we also know life in sports is unpredictable, so you need flexibility, not food anxiety, right? And again, that myth has caused so much anxiety. And look at my client Drew right here, for example. In these difference of these photos, he's down 20 pounds in about 2.5 months, and he works in the NBA. And he gets home. Sometimes he has homestands that are 4 or 5 days out of the week. Obviously, they're in playoffs now, but even before the playoffs started, like, he's getting home at 11 o'clock at night, and he needed to eat, right? So at the end of the day, if you haven't gone over your calorie target and you're still fueling your body with good food, if you have 500 calories left for the day, and as long as that last meal is within that 500, and you're going to still lose fat regardless if you ate it at 11 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock, because it's still the calorie target for the day, guys. That's why, again, step number 1 is calories, focus on how much to eat. Step number 2 is to focus on what types of food to eat. And 3 is to focus on the timing. But again, we know timing is not that big of an issue as long as the first 2 steps are taken care of and you're still in that deficit. And now, again, Drew has a better relationship with food, and he's even down about 25 pounds since he last took these photos, which is about a week and a half ago, guys. So again, the proof is in the pudding that you can get there even around a crazy schedule. You just need the right strategy, like all these guys did. So those are the 3 steps. And I'm super happy that you stuck around for this video to see those 3 steps, because again, they helped me just like they're helping everyone else you've seen, throughout this video. But imagine 6 to 12 months from now, right? That you're down 10 to 30 pounds of stubborn fat. Your clothes fit better. Your energy on game days is immaculate. You're showing up as the best version of yourself physically and mentally, and you just feel like the overall athlete you were meant to be, right? Just like Nick, who here has left the dentist and said he looked good and asked if he'd been working out. Or Bernadette, she was in desperate need to take control of her health, but found it hard to find the time to focus on her health, and how she got a plan that worked around her schedule and easy to follow, right? And she, at the end, lost about 15 to 17 pounds when she finished up with me. But again, someone who was a director of ticket sales at the time in sports. Or, my client here, Nick, who had a polo on and it got pretty tight and now it's pretty baggy. Or, Drew, who you just saw, right? Or any other of these clients, these wins that you see. Imagine 6 to 12 months from now that you are in the best shape of your life, all because you finally got the strategy that worked for you. So if you're someone who's tired of doing it on their own, right, and you finally want, the best, the program that fits your lifestyle and your goals specifically for you, and you finally want to make a change and get out of where you're at, click the link below and book a free call with me, and we'll hop on a free strategy call where we can take a deeper dive into your goals, your lifestyle, how your current situation is looking, and where you want to go. And if we'd be a fit together, and explore what that could look like, and also what support I can give to you. So as always, guys, if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. My socials are in the links below. And as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you get notified when I drop new content, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful for you, and make sure to share it with someone you maybe feel would benefit from seeing this. And as always, Coach Tyler out, and I will talk to you soon.